On today's episode, I'm going to put on a lens that perhaps you've never had before, and I'm going to show you that there's a big difference between color and culture, and you never ever should confuse the two, whether it's in business or in life. So this morning we've got training, we're doing role plays, and we're going at it hard. Me and the entire sales force. So there's over 100 people in the training center, and we're going back and forth, back and forth. A young man, Afrikaans young male, lifts his hand. He said, "Mr. Bobbs, I need help. I am struggling to sometimes get through with some of my customers and portray the message and serve them the way that I know I want to and I should in an African community. You know, some people get my message, get my emotion, and they understand, and some don't. I don't understand. What is it? Is it like a black or white thing?" So I said to him, "Let me ask you this. Sit down, park that message, and let's do a little experiment within the room, because we are a very diverse company. So let's start first. Who is a Zulu-speaking mother tongue person in our audience?" And being a Zulu man, Saddam is his name, he lifts both his hands. So he goes up like that. So I say to him, "Mzane, how are you?" So he says to me, "Mr. Bobbs, I'm very well." So tell me, Saddam, growing up in a Zulu-speaking family, what is the one value and principle that your parents instilled in you that you'll take forever and you'll teach your kids that? He said, "Very easy. Be proud of your history. Be proud of who you are." I said, "Excellent. Is it a deep-rooted value?" "Yes, it is." "Okay, great. Who's next?" So we've got a very interesting young man. His name is, his name is Ronnie. I say to him, "Ronnie, tell me about yourself." So he says, "I've got an interesting past. My mom is from Northern Cape, Afrikaans white-speaking woman. My dad is Chinese." I said, "Interesting. Tell me, what is the one value that your mom gave you that you will take with you wherever you go?" So he said to me, "You know, the underlying value is resilience. She taught me you always have adversity in life. You will always grow up and have to face difficult situations. But if you are resilient, you'll always progress and do well." I said, "Cool. What did your dad teach you from the Chinese, culture and instill in you as a young man? Because you're a fine young man," and he really is. So he said to me, without a question, punctuality. So in the Chinese community, in the Chinese culture, punctuality is hyper important. So that's the first thing that he taught me. If you give your word, you're going to be with someone at 10 a.m. You're going to be there at 10 a.m. You're never late. So punctuality is very important. I said, "Okay, watch this now." So I point to a young man by the name of John, and he's Tsonga. I said to him, "John, explain to me, what is the one or two things that your parents instilled in you growing up, culturally?" He said to me, very, 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 very strong values and principles. He said, "Give them to me." So whenever you're speaking to elderly people, you have to be seated. I said, "Really, why?" He said, "It's a sign of respect. You have to show respect by sitting." I said, "Okay, great. What else?" He said to me, very important, you always give with your right hand. So you give with your right hand and you accept with two hands. I didn't know that. I said, what happens if I give with the left hand?" He said, "If you give someone something with the left hand, it's a sign of disrespect. You give with your right hand and you accept with two hands." I said, "Really, very interesting. Very, very interesting." I look around the room and I find our compliance officer. Her name is Tejo. And Tejo is Ndebele. I said, "Tejo, how are you, Mr. Bobbs?" I said, "I'm very well. How are you?" "Great. What is the one value and principle your parents installed in you that you will take with you wherever you go and give your kids?" He said, "Very easy. When I'm sitting in a room or in any environment, I put myself in a position where all my colleagues, even on the same level or below me, are ahead of me." I said, "Why do you do that?" He said, "Because then I can absorb all that knowledge and energy that they give me as a student, and I will forever grow." I said, "That's amazing values and principles." Look through the room. Now I'm watching the Afrikaans community. I said, and the English-speaking community. I said to them, "Is it a culture difference or a color difference, because we've spoken to a Zulu man, a Tsonga man, and we've spoken to a girl that's from Ndebele descent, and they said, no, it's not a color thing, it's a culture thing. So you have to speak to the culture. I said, wait, let's go further. And I see Fatima. She's in the back of the room, and I know the family very well. I said to her, ma'am, tell me about your husband. She says to me, my husband always negotiates. He's an Indian young man. I said, then tell me, is that your husband's thing, or is it a cultural thing? She says, it's a cultural thing. The negotiation is part of the purchase. Wherever we go, it's a part of the purchase. So now we're starting to bounce around the room a bit, and one of the managers say, you know what, I've never ever sold a car to an Indian gentleman without going through a price negotiation process. I said, why do you think? I think it's a cultural thing. It's not just that one or two specific, it's a cultural thing. I said, there we go. If you understand the culture, you can serve better. So where am I going with this message? I think if you're never mind in sales, if you're in life, the moment that you start to show interest in people's culture, real interest, not fictitious interest so that I can sell you, close you, and get the commission. No, real interest. So how do you do that? When you're engaging someone, this is a trick that I've learned long ago. When I'm engaging someone, I have real intention to take away from the conversation and learn. I ask them this very simple questions. Tell me, what is your mother tongue? When you grew up, I'm Bulgarian. So the Bulgarian community have got a very strong work ethic. So we're not scared to outwork anybody. Like, very easy maths for me. My neighbor works 9 to 4. I'm like, those are good hours. I'm just going to switch them. I'm going to start working at 4 and work until 9 o'clock, and I'll beat you. You know, that's my work ethic. That's a cultural thing instilled into me by my father. This is what I've learned from my family and from my descent. What is it that you have underlining in your culture that you can teach me? And if you do this enough times, you'll get to understand how to engage with any color, any culture, anywhere in the world. It really works. Show genuine intent, show interest in the person that you're engaging, and take away from it, because it will help you in the next relationship to be really effective in connecting with people and building long-lasting relationships. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful afternoon. Bye-bye.